Hey, this is my attempt at doing a video on my gear bag. It's got all my cogs and gears and everything I want to take to the track every time I go. And I know a number of people wonder, what should I have? What should I get? What do I need? So I'm going to throw out my bag here as an example and let you figure out if what I have is good and could work for you, or at least give you some ideas of things that you might want to try and get for you and your setup. So anyway, I'll get started. I was lucky enough to get my bag custom made by a friend. It is a combination of designs inspired by the EAI Kirin tote bag, Euro-Asia Imports, EAI, or the now defunct track sack that was originally made in the late 90s in California. Some people thought there was still hope for it as a business and relocated that product to Texas and produced it there. It has since no longer been made and was a big part of the inspiration of the design of this bag. So anyway, I'll move on without any further ado. Again, it's a blue bag, pretty thick. I have customized it to identify it from my teammates who have the same color combination with some yellow electrical tape here on the handles that make it my bag versus my teammates. I have a spare tow strap here to keep things tied together, bringing wheels in and out of the track. There is just a million things you can do with a tow strap. So, moving right along, hopefully you can see this okay. I have in this side of the bag first my gear chart. I'm going to try and focus a little closer in. Right now you can see that the chart has different coloring on it. That coloring corresponds to the different cogs. I've actually color coded each cog, and I'll show that later in the video here, to make it easy for me to not have to look at the tiny little numbers on the cogs. They're really hard to see, especially if the cog is a dark color. Trying to figure out what the number is and not have to count teeth and screw things up that way. I have put paint on each cog with different tooth combinations to help me easily identify that cog by a quick glance. So the same doesn't apply for chain rings. You can easily read the larger numbers on the chain ring. But here in my bag I have a small little zipper pull that you'd find on a jacket or a ski coat or something like that, but it's got a thermometer, which sometimes I curiously look at what the temperature is. It's got a compass and a little magnifying glass thing, but I use it for the thermometer, just trying to see what temperatures are at the track when I'm there. My velodrome is outside. I do have a couple safety pins here in the corner that don't really affect too much, but they're there in case I need to find one for that last corner of my bib number on race night. Also in the gear chart pouch here, the flap, I have a small plastic magnifying glass or Fresnel lens that you can find on eBay or somewhere. But I use this to help read things since my vision has changed as I've gotten older. It's easier than reading glasses, so I've got that. Alright, so I'm going to fix this. There we go. Hopefully the glare is not too much. Alright, the flap moves out of the way, and I have a rag here that serves a number of purposes besides cleaning things off and trying to keep neat. Cleaning my hands. It's also a pad for when I pull off cogs to protect my knuckles, and I'll show you that in a second. Alright, in here my combination starts with 47. I have 48 on the bike, 49, 50, 51, 52, and 53 tooth chain rings. I ride what is known as road pitch or road width from when I first started cycling in the early 80s, and I have not switched since then. There is a thicker width of chainring, thicker width, that is common with track cycling. It's also BMX kind of width and that kind of thing. It's stronger, sturdier, and because you're not shifting with derailleurs on a track bike, the width doesn't helps things run smoother and should be stronger. It's also a little bit heavier, but I'm one of the few of my teammates that I know and people that I know that uses road width chain rings or 3/32, so I don't have to loan out my stuff that often because most people don't have it. So in that respect, I stay out of trouble a little bit. Plus, if I go somewhere, I used to be under the impression that it would be easier to find a road chainring or a road cog that I could manipulate to find a spare solution to a problem, where in the years past, track stuff was, you had to order it. So basically you would just be out of luck if you needed something in a couple days. Alright, so that's this side. I do have behind here in a padded envelope a spare chain with a universal link that I can use to help whatever combinations of gears that I have, depending on my dropouts and whether or not the chain is long enough or short enough to work, so, and spare if something breaks. So that's this side. Moving right along to this side here, hopefully you can see all right, I do have a spare light that I can use in case it gets dark, which does occasionally happen. In this first pouch, starting up in the left, I have a small bag with a number of odds and ends. Underneath it is some covers for my disc, where the valve stem hole is at. These covers cover that up and make it a little more aerodynamic. In here, in this bag, and I'm going to utilize my envelope here to help me illustrate what I've got. I have 2 bar end plugs, a lock ring. I have 5 more chainring bolts. I have another couple pins for my chain and another universal link. I have a little bit of rubber gasket to help with stems or seat posts or something that needs a little grip to keep from sliding. This is a Zip proprietary wrench with valve extenders for deep dish rims that I utilize, and also along with that I have track nuts and another cone nut or a hub that is special to my race wheels. So that's what's in the first pouch, and a bag to keep it organized. Then in this pouch here, I have a bag with a spoke wrench, universal spoke wrench. It's got different sizes, a tool for letting me inflate my disc wheel. It adapts my pump so I can get the valve in and on and pump things up. And I also have a little plumb bob, brass plumb bob on a string there too for checking things out if I need to. I have some more cleat wedges and spare screws for my speed plate cleats. I have a tape measure, and I have another chain tool, mini chain tool. It's not great, but it's small enough to be compact enough for my bag. Moving right along. Oh, I forgot. I do have some different grits of sandpaper in a little wallet credit card sleeve that folds things up and keeps it organized, keeps it out of the way. So that's all that's in that pocket. Alright, moving into this, I have a Cocoon Gridded Organizer, which is an elastic strap essentially on cardboard, I think it is. But anyway, it holds my peanut butter wrench for putting on the wheels. It holds the assorted Allen keys that I need, a 6, a 5, a 4, and a 3 that are common to bolts on my stem, seat post, wheels, all the bits and pieces, chainring bolts, cranks, and actually I should reach down here and pull out these other bits that are in here, and I do have this for pulling off look Keo pedals for someone else and pulling my cranks off. An 8mm hex. Alright, so along with the Allen keys, I do have a small precision screwdriver set that screw off the ends, and the bits come out and you put them in, but it's for small little things, cleats, things like that. But it's you never know when you gotta pry something apart or get in there. So there's that. Alright, so this next pouch, and I'm going to keep going. This next pouch here is a Maxpedition small pouch bag. Keeps my odds and ends together. Alright, so starting out I have 3 different color markers for marking cleats or seat posts. The different colors let me mark on silver, black, whatever, and still be seen or not seen. I have a Bic lighter for melting whatever you might need to melt or do whatever, you never know. This is a quick release skewer from the road that I've converted, added a special bolt, an old Campy record that quick release is closed with a lock, an Allen key to lock it, and then it doesn't have the quick release lever anymore. So it would work on the track in a pinch. Here is a tool for the back of crank arms on the chainring bolts to hold little notches. I now fast tack my back half of the chainring bolts in the back side so they don't come out easily and only screw in and out the fronts. This is a small lubricating pen. It's got a needle with a ball on the end so you can drip out 1 drop at a time of lubricant, but it keeps it sort of closed up and protected. I have a small little knife here, adjustable knife. I have cone wrenches for my hubs that I use, adjusting cones. Another small wrench for my zip valve extenders. And then some assorted lengths and thicknesses of zip ties. So that's that pouch right there and all its goodies. Moving right along, I have my Mariposa torque wrench. Fedo Mariposa. It's got assorted lengths of adapters with it. Here, Torx Allen key, and it's also got these other bits for flathead and Phillips screwdrivers, but it's got everything I need to adjust everything on my bike to the proper torque and not strip any bolts. And then it wraps up into a sweet little package here, strap, but Fedo Mariposa. Alright, that's it for those pouches. So moving right along, I have here on the bottom a pouch for cogs. And I have the 17 Super Warm-Up El Cheapo cog, but that'll work. A 16 that's painted green, I think you can see that. Then a white one for 15s. Got two of those for a race wheel and spares. I've got two. My 14s, which are these are the more common cogs that I use. And then for those one occasion where I need to amp it up a notch, I've got a nice 13. And in the last pocket I have some spare stuff here. I have found an old adhesive label backing that I put electrical tape on so I can get it off, but I've got almost 4 feet there of electrical tape that you can use to wrap up handlebar tape, cover up logos, cover up speedometers if you have to. You never know what you have to cover at a bike race. And the electrical tape goes on enough to stay on, but comes off relatively easy. I've got some red duct tape for that extra bit, all with the backing. This is a couple feet folded up. And some Gorilla, sort of like duct tape, but a different brand, but black. That will do just as good, if not better. So that's my gear bag. I do have one thing here in the middle, my special tool. I want to say it's San Rencho. I'm not sure, but I know it is definitely Japanese in origin, and it is a cog puller. Fits all my cogs. It's got a little notch here that holds onto the tooth and sits on and gives me enough grip to get a cog on or off, and then another tool for the lock ring if I need it. So that's what I've got here in my gear bag. I hope this inspires you to make your own and not bug me if you see me at the races for a tool that you might need. But whatever track you ride or tracks that you want to ride at, you'll need the appropriate gearing depending on the races that you want to do, the weather conditions that are there, and the competition that you're doing, whether it's just training, local races, or championship events. What else would I say that I keep forgetting here? Anyway, make your tool kit and gears and cogs reflect what you want to do and what can get you out of a jam without relying on other people. So having some spares and a little thought process on what kind of handlebars and stems and seats and seat posts and what kind of bolts you have, basically determine what kind of tools you'll need and spares that you'll need to fix anything that may break. What kind of shoes and cleats that you have is another important thing, as those tend to break easily in the right situations, or definitely are affected by Murphy's Law. So having a spare set of cleats or screws or things like that is a good thing to have. But that's it. So I wish you luck, and I hope to see you soon at the track. Thanks.